Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life. Now, it's been a little while since I've done one of these Day in the Lives where I take you right through every stage of my day, and so it's really good to be back. Now, apologies, I do look like a little bit of a hobo. You know, ironically, it's actually harder to get a haircut now that the UK is moving out of lockdown than it was right in the middle of lockdown, but you know, that's where we are. Now, since I've started trading Bund futures, which is a European market that opens at 7 AM, and I have to be in the office just that little bit earlier to get fully set up and ready for the day ahead. Now, before we get into that, I do have a couple of updates. Loads of you have been asking me for updates on my crypto investments and stuff like that. Before I get into this, guys, I'm not a crypto trader, I'm not a crypto investor. I put about £2,000 into crypto back in about January, and just to show you how that's running on my Blockfolio at the moment, you can see it's at about $10.7K. If you want a video on my crypto investments and stuff like that, I'd be happy to put one together, but this really isn't my area of expertise. You know, I just saw it as a very good time to get in. I put in a little bit of money. Now, you may think, okay, you put in £2,000, it's now up at like 10.7K. You know, why don't you get out? I'm not really gonna take anything out. I'm not in this to make like life-changing money or anything like that. I just put a bit of money into it for fun. The crypto market taking a little bit of a dip. Everybody was kind of freaking out and selling all of their crypto. So I thought, you know, really perfect time to get in. Now's a better time than ever when everybody's kind of selling, everybody's panicking. Take advantage of some of those slightly lower prices. And so I got some Ripple, I got some Ethereum, I got some Bitcoin, and a few other smaller coins. Now, crypto has never been something I've been interested in, but we actually have a trader here on the floor who is really well versed, really well educated in the crypto space, and he was kind of telling me about loads of different things. So I thought I'll put into practice some of the stuff, and you know, myself and him together, you know, set up some crypto accounts and stuff like that, and I put some money into it. Now, that is not to say if I look at my phone and I'm up like £100,000, I'm not going to take out some of that. Of course I would, but at the moment, you know, the risk of me taking 10K and it going further outweighs the reward of me just having that 10K personally. Now, next on the little agenda of updates before we get into getting set up for the day, some of you will know from the last video that over the past few months I've been trading futures, and I'm still on sim. I'm still, you know, really learning that space, leaning on the fantastic education of, you know, people who have gone before me and stuff like that. But yeah, we had a really great trade during the week off of the back of a vaccine comment about the J&J vaccine, which was actually halted in the US due to blood clots and stuff like that. Now, typically negative news surrounding that kind of stuff will cause equities to dip, which usually causes bonds to go up. I'm obviously trading the Bund futures. I was actually looking at a long entry before that vaccine comment came out. And when the vaccine comment came out over the squawk, I managed to hit that long and got in a really great trade. Now, in terms of the risk reward and stuff, it wasn't massive, but the responsiveness to that news and trading in news is something that I've never really done before in that manner. So again, you know, this is not my field of expertise. But yeah, it was really fantastic to get that, and I'll maybe show you a little clip of that trade later on, as I did actually record it.
The headline dropping across the Bloomberg terminal, reporting coming from the New York Times. So let's be clear about that. The United States to call for a pause on the J&J vaccine after clotting cases. This coming from the New York Times in just the last minute or so. The United States to call for a pause on the J&J vaccine after clotting cases. Quick look at the price action, Tom, off the back of that headline. Equities are lower, not by a huge amount. A mild move on the S&P 500, down around about 0.2%.
Now, I'm gonna get on and get set up for the day, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Okay, so now that I'm fully set up and ready to go for the day, the next step of my morning, which takes place at about 7:30, I go live with our members on Zoom to discuss the setups that I'm looking at for the day ahead and to talk about any news and stuff like that that could be coming out. Right, okay, so coming into this morning, obviously first thing on the agenda is to get our fundamentals out there. So I've just got a screenshot of some of the fundamentals that are coming out. We had employment change and unemployment rate coming out in Australia overnight. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when I'm having a hot drink, it has to be absolutely burning hot. So Callum's just brought in coffees, and it's like, it's hot, but it's not like hot. So I've actually had to microwave it. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so it's just gone 8 o'clock. So the next item on my agenda, now obviously that we have junior traders on the prop desk and stuff like that, the next thing, the next part of my morning is to actually go over their start of day reviews. So I want to look at their plans for the day ahead, what they're looking to trade and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go and do that now. Welcome to the Advanced Trader course by KP Trading. It's done over 170 pips up in a straight line with an ATR. Do you have ATR on this?
Yeah.
No. With an ATR 65 pips, so there's no way it's not, you know, it might stop out, yeah, but there's no way that that's not going to pull back soon. You know what I mean? Even just to pull back for another leg up. So it's just gone 10 AM. Now, usually around this point in the morning, we've had the excitement and the volume that's already happened, you know, from 8 to 9 AM at the start of the London Open. The markets tend to quieten down a little bit. So this is usually when I take some time out to grab something to eat and then come back to my desk and do a little bit of studying. Now, at the moment, I'm just watching some videos on the market footprint by Axia Futures. Again, you know, as I've started trading the Bund and trading futures, we're using a lot of these new tools like, you know, price ladders, market footprint, market profile, etc. And so I'm continually looking to gain and expand my knowledge on, you know, in these areas. So that's probably what I'm going to spend the next half an hour to an hour doing, and then I'll catch up with you when we're doing something else. So it's just gone 11 and I've been stopped out of a trade on New Zealand dollar, and I've just been filled on a trade on the Bund on the short-term future strategy. So I'm going to jump over onto the screens and I'm going to walk you through these two trade setups. So starting off here on New Zealand dollar. Now, on New Zealand dollar from the weekly, we had a shooting star above market. We had the market really try and sell off, make a good move to the downside over the past few weeks, and then just kind of track sideways. So really, I was looking for a little bit of a retracement to catch a bit of a continuation lower. If we drop down onto the daily here, you can see for the past, you know, sort of week, we've been ranging, chopping along underneath the neckline of this head and shoulders. Now, you can see in here, we have left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Really nice neckline there, double bottom structure in the market as well. And then if I put a fib on from this swing high to this swing low here. So you can see here on this daily time frame, we have 61.8 fib confluence right in around this little series of lows. And I'm just going to mark out that low there on this daily time frame. Now if I drop down onto the 4 hour, now I don't personally use the 4 hour time frame, I use the 1 hour, but there's simply too much data to get all on the same screen using the 1 hour time frame. So I'm using the 4 hour just to give you a bit of a better kind of picture here. So you can see this is the low that I actually got short from, this little structure low with a stop above this really impulsive candle. The German Economy Ministry says the government will lift their full year GDP. With a stop above this impulse candle that shows conviction down through this structure, right? So we have some support lows in here. We get a conviction candle that just shows a little bit of commitment through those lows. And so the stop goes above that. Now, if I drop down onto the hourly time frame here, the 60-minute, you can see price traded along over the Asia session. I was actually asleep, and then coming in this morning, I actually got taken out for a full 1 hour. Unfortunately, there was no opportunity really to get out of that for a smaller loss or anything like that, which I usually try and do. You know, I usually try and cut those losses a good bit before stop, half an hour, you know, 0.3 of an hour, whatever, but there was just no opportunity in this situation. Now, moving over onto the short-term strategy, I'm going to start on a daily time frame here. From the daily time frame, you can see we have, again, a head and shoulders, and yesterday's daily candle was a daily bearish engulfing. Now, with that candle bias coming into today, you know, we get a bearish engulfing yesterday above the neckline of a head and shoulders. I'm looking for a probe of that neckline, right? So we have that neckline coming in at 170.52s. If I drop down onto a 60-minute time frame here, so we have that neckline coming in at 170.52. Now, if I move you over onto this market profile here, the daily market profile, yesterday's profile, we can see very, very stretched, very, very elongated profile, and we close down here on the day, you know, a good bit outside of yesterday's value area. So coming into today, I kind of have the idea that we might get a retracement to try and fill in some of that, you know, some of that expanded profile, some of that elongated profile. Now you can see we do have single prints in here on the market profile, which is just denoted by this yellow line, coming in at 171.08. And then if I take you over onto 60-minute, you can see where that 171.08 comes in. So that 171.08 comes in right around here, around this candle low, which if I just put on a fib retracement, you can see actually has 50% fib confluence as well. So if I open up an intraday chart, so this is the 5-minute chart that I actually trade from, you can see we get 50% fib confluence in around these little structure lows with that 171.08 single prints from the market profile. So this provides for me a really high confluence area to get short from. So you can actually see my trade is currently running 5 ticks in profit. So my entries here, stops just up there, and then target is down at that 170.52s for that that daily head and shoulders neckline. So I just open this up on a 60-minute chart and show you what the trade looks like. So there you can see here, again, short from this kind of low here, stop up here, and then target down there. So really, really good risk reward trade. But yeah, we've been filled now for about 20-25 minutes. So I'll make sure to keep you updated throughout the day on how this trade goes. So it's now around about 6 PM and I'm just getting ready to head home. Now, that Boon trade stopped out at a trailed stop for about half an hour loss. So between that, the Boon trade I had on the vaccine comment and New Zealand dollar, I'm just marginally ahead for the week. Now, it's nothing huge, but at the end of the day, profit is profit. Now, the last thing before I let you go, I was on the Trading Nut podcast. Cam kindly invited me on, and we had a really, really good chat about, you know, what it takes to start a prop firm and, you know, the selection process that we go through, what we look for in people, and how traders can really equip themselves mentally to take trading into the kind of professional space. So I highly, highly suggest you go and watch that. I'll leave it linked somewhere in the video or in the description as well. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode of Day in the Life, guys. Please do drop it a like if you did enjoy, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Now, you can also reach me on Instagram at Sam_Kavanagh. Now, please bear in mind, I will never message you first, so if you do get a message from a profile claiming to be me, trying to sell you something or whatever, please do just ignore it, block, report it, etc. However, if you would like to drop me a message on Instagram, I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. At the moment, I'm answering DMs pretty much every Saturday. So if you do message me during the week, please do be patient and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks as always, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.